This is my video on the Ownice C200. Today we're going to be doing the thermal mod that I tested last night. Seems to help with the restarting issues, especially with the latest Lollipop update. For this mod you're going to need some copper shims, some silicon cement, heatsink cement. You may be able to get away with Arctic silver if you can get the heatsink secured properly, because there is a small heatsink in there, but I'll show you that in a minute. But I really recommend some heatsink plaster, and obviously a Phillips screwdriver. I've as I said, I've done this mod, and I've just reassembled it basically for the video to show you how to take it apart. So the screws are already out, but I'm going to show you what to do. So firstly, you're going to need to take the top off. There are two screws that hold on the top. The first one is under this warranty seal here. I'll get a bit closer. The screw's out already because I've done this, but that's where it would be. And it's the same on the other side. And when you're working on it, you're going to probably need it level while the plaster sets. You don't want it all sliding around. So get yourself a book or something to prop it up with. Whip out the two screws here and here, and this bit comes off. Next, you're going to need to take the DVD drive out. There are 4 screws that hold in the DVD drive. There's one on the side, each side here, and one, and here obviously, and two on the top, one in each corner that hold on the DVD drive. Be very careful when you take out the DVD drive not to rip the ribbon cable. It can be pulled out without removing the tab, but don't break it because you're screwed if you do. So gently lift it out and lift it towards you. As you can see, I've already done the mod, so mine's just flapping about, but I'll run you through it. But just lift it towards you so that it's, it goes in there. And it goes in this way. And really, it goes in this way. Now I've removed it so that I can fiddle with it and test it at my leisure. And if you need to remove it, this tab slides towards you this way, and that allows you to plug or unplug the ribbon cable. However, to remove it, you can just pull it out, but definitely for installation you'll have to slide this tab back. So again, because this is demonstration, I've left this all loose, but this under here is where your heatsink is, and this would be soldered in place by the factory. It's soldered on these little tabs here, here, here. The biggest solder blob I had was there. That seemed to hold the majority of it on. There's another one there, one there. But I was able to just grab it here, and with a little bit of wiggling, it levered up, and it would actually stand up proud on this solder blob like this, until I bit the bullet and decided to take it off entirely. As you can see, I've already stuck on my copper shims, and I've taken it all apart again and removed the paste so that I can show you. Because I went for the thicker of the shims, this no longer touches perfectly, so I've decided to lift these little flaps upwards, because I don't want them to make contact with the legs here on the, this is a separate board that holds on the SoC, the socket on chip, the system on chip, sorry. And if you were to short out some of these chips, some of these legs, it would be game over basically. So so I removed it, bent up these tabs. What you actually find when you open your one up is that there's just a paper sticker on top of this, and that's it. And this, although it's lowered so that it's near to the CPU, it doesn't touch the CPU. I suppose you could use some thermal pads and just sort of bridge the gap that way, and that would probably work okay. But I decided, I've got all this stuff kicking around, I would stick a couple of copper shims in there and be done with it basically. So if you've never done this before, basically remove the sticker, clean up your surface, get yourself some nail polish remover or some alcohol or something along that sort of line that you can just clean the glue up with, and cotton wool buds, maybe a bit of tissue, something, just to take the glue off. And then get your silicone glue like so, apply a small blob to the surface. So this would be your CPU, but obviously I've put 2 copper shims on already. And take your copper shim and just push it down and smear it around so that you get this blob to spread out nice and evenly across the surface of the CPU, so that the shim is making good contact. Now, like I said, I used 2 shims to make it 2 mil thick. Well, plus the thickness of the however much paste I got in the gap. And then I reapplied my heatsink. Now, this heatsink has got a small indentation on it, and I thought, well, I'm going to stick a third shim in this little indentation. A little bit extra copper. It's gonna be beneficial basically. So that's what I did. I'm just going to put a little bit more on here. You're supposed to put it quite thinly, but again, you want it to definitely fill all of the gap. And because I've done this already, it's not as pretty as it was the first time. So anyway, I'm going to reapply it like that. Make doubly, triply, quadruply, a milliontly times definite that these little things are not going to make contact with that, and that's why I wanted this level. So, you know, make sure you've got a book under the whole thing so it's not sliding around. When I had 2 shims and this all drying last night, I found that it will slide about a little bit, especially for the first 5 minutes. I did actually power it up like that, and it ran fine, and I thought that might help it dry with a little bit of heat. But make sure you push down on the thing as well, and kind of smudge it around a little so that you definitely have smeared all that paste in good and proper, and it's making a good contact and it's stuck down nice and firmly. And that's the basis of the mod really. That's about it. If you fancy doing the aerial mod, which some of them are doing, which is on the version Bs and the version Cs, this is the aerial they're talking about. So if you were to put like a connector on the end of here and put it in there, you can get much better Wi-Fi signal. I haven't done that yet. I thought I'd try and sort the restarting issue first. But basically, leave that overnight to set, because you don't want it sliding around. You could take a gamble and turn it on now, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to say don't. It works for me, but I'm brave enough to open it and have a go at this in the first place. So yeah, once you've got it all level like that, just leave it overnight, before, I would say, before you even attempt to put your DVD drive back in. That's about the size of it, guys. I'm guessing you don't need me to show you how to put it back together. That goes there, that goes there, that back on top with all the screws. Have fun, peeps.